Welcome to Game Dozer, my name is Omar, and last time I gave you a list of the games that I'm looking forward to playing in 2019. And I also promised that you will get a list of the good games that everyone is excited about but me. And here we are. I would like to remind you that my criteria was that the games that I chose were not of a guaranteed quality or even success, which creates this area for me as a critic to explore. So the list for today is for games that are more likely to succeed, but not introduce anything particularly inventive or revolutionary. Also bear in mind that this is pure speculation. However, so far, I was very accurate with one of the games, which is Resident Evil 2. This game is everything I imagined and more. Without further ado, let's start with number 10, Anthem. It's kind of an obvious one to have, and so that's why it's on the bottom of my list. Even the fans of the game seems unenthusiastic about it. I think that's from the lack of innovation, as the game is considered by many to be as the Activision's Destiny's wannabe, and there is the fear it's going to suffer from the same problems as Destiny, like the lack of story. And more importantly, it's published by the most hated company in America, the infamous Electronic Arts. However, it's still a highly anticipated project for the same exact reasons, since people still bought and played Destiny by the millions. Their gameplay will still feed into the Skinner box psychology we all have, like Destiny did. And Electronic Arts is still known for its big budget production, so here it is on my list. Number 9 is Biomutant. This one looks interesting enough to catch people's eyes, but I can see through the flashy graphics and the cute characters. Although this game looks like something heavily inspired by Zelda Breath of the Wild, I can feel a sense of laziness in the game structure. And without even looking up the game on the internet, I knew it was made by Unreal Engine. And I also knew it's going to feel like every hack and slash indie game made by Unreal. And the problem with that is that you need to calibrate the engine mechanics in order to get the proper feeling that fits the experience you're designing for. What I see usually is the designers taking the template of mechanics as it is, changing little to nothing at all to save money and man-hour, and end up with something very generic. I'm really skeptical about this one, to be honest. With number 8, The Division 2. This is an obvious one as well, which is why it's so far down my list. Because if Ubisoft is known for one thing, it's the Ubisoft formula, which makes every single game that they make feel exactly the same. Let alone a sequel to a game that failed to meet the expectations the first time. I expect it to succeed, and I might even enjoy it, but there is nothing new here for me to look forward to the point that I don't think it can even be bad enough to be interesting. There's nothing here more to say. Number 7 is Gears 5. Speaking of more of the same, this one is just a continuation of the story of one of the characters from Gears of War 4. I don't expect anything to improve in terms of graphics, mechanics, or level design. That doesn't mean I'm saying it's going to be bad, because Gears of War 4 was really, really good. If it's the same, then that's a good thing. I'm simply saying that there is nothing for me to look forward to this time. Number 6 is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Everyone who's a fan of Dark Souls is looking forward to this one. It's made by the same studio and will provide the same standards in terms of action and story. The problem is, and it's not just me, lies in one word: Activision. This company's name is the nightmarish omen for everything the Dark Souls and Dark Souls fans stand for. The infamous publisher have ruined the reputation of Blizzard, capitalized for a decade on one game's success in the worst ways possible, and just murdered so many single-player stories. It's inevitable that this artistic piece of work will one day be dragged into the mud. Number 5 is World War Z. I don't think I need to say much about this one. Big part of the game's appeal is the success of the movie, which is the exact same reason I think it's going to be disappointing, and excuse my expression, it is going to be utter shite. Movie licenses are more often than not taken by companies trying to capitalize on an existing success. It's a problem that always seemed to be unsolvable, at least from my perspective. Number 4 is Crackdown 3. If you wait for a game for so long in development, chances are whomever is working on it seem to be unable to deliver on the promises of quality, and a demo recently showed less than a satisfactory graphics. I don't understand this game very well, and I don't understand its appeal, but I have this feeling that doesn't betray me that often that this game is not going to meet the expectations of its fans. And number 3, Skull and Bones. Like The Division 2, this is an Ubisoft game, which means it will follow the same exact formula we're getting tired of. But in the same time, it's using the same gameplay we loved that was used in the fondly remembered Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And it's likely to be the ultimate sea piracy game ever made. Still, I have this feeling of familiarity with the content we've seen in E3's conference, and this isn't going to be anything but the capitalization on the people's need for something like Black Flag. Number 2 is Devil May Cry 5. Yes, you heard it, I don't think I'm looking forward to this game, although I might have an amazing time with it. And that's because I heard that there's going to be microtransactions to boost XP gain in a single player game. Fuck that, and fuck Ubisoft for making this a thing in the game industry. And number 1 is The Last of Us 2. Apart from the people angry about the lesbian stuff we've seen in the trailer of E3, and saying that the game is going to take a turn into a more politically charged story about the protagonist of the game, all of that doesn't concern me. But I cannot shake the feeling that sometimes publishers tend to include politics as a substitute for the lack of new ideas. Don't get me wrong, I think that politics are in the heart of every artistic piece. To deny that is to say that games are hollow and detached of anything meaningful other than pure joy, which just simply isn't true. We've seen the anti-far right politics used to promote Wolfenstein 2 and the feminist propaganda used to promote a fictional female character in the game Battlefield 5, which backfired horribly, by the way. Personally, I'm a big believer of these values. I'm all for women representation in video games, I hate Nazis, racism and extremism, and I don't mind some girl-on-girl action from time to time, to be honest. But it seems to me that this is just not simply the case. Such advertisement tactics used by these companies seems to be because they don't have anything to offer in terms of improvement on the product, and they desperately promote their games this way to cover for the lack of creativity. Oh god, I hope this is not the case for The Last of Us 2. You have no idea how I love the first one. A lack of creative ideas in this one will end it for me. That's all I have. Thanks for watching, and please consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't done that already. Like, and tell me your opinion in the comment section down below. Thanks again, and welcome to Game Dozer.